In today's tutorial, let's learn how to do a blue Lagoon Afghan together. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Today's tutorial, let's learn how to do this blue Lagoon throw together. Now you'll be noticing that the original pattern doesn't even look like this, it looks like this. So you can see that you can barely recognize it's the same pattern, but you know, this is when creativity goes crazy and you can look at your yarn and determine what kind of colors work for you. Now I'm going to do another completely different color transitional today, just changing my colors in different spots in order to make it work. But what I did notice in this particular Afghan, what makes this work, because Colleen was really proud of this and actually we were really proud of her too, there's actually variegated yarns on the outside of these things and it makes it really interesting. But also what she did is that she kept this one here and this layer here in the same color, and it gives it a uniform look throughout the whole thing. And so this is an idea that every square that she did was identical to each other, and she did it like an assembly line where basically she does all the middle purples first and then she comes and does this layer next on all of them and then the next and next. Do you notice what it looks like? It looks like it's a gearbox or a nice bursting flower. It's a really great idea and today you're going to learn that. In today's tutorial I'm going to be using the Bernat Super Value yarn. You have to have 6 different colors and one of them I'm using a variegated, and I'm also substituting my hook today for a 6.0 millimeter size J crochet hook today. So again, you can substitute your yarns in order to match your own personal creativity. So let's get started and we're gonna go step by step on making the squares together. So let's begin today. I'm going to start off with a slip knot. I'm gonna show you how to do this slowly, haven't done that in a while. So I'm gonna wrap my finger twice. Okay, so here is the start. I'm going to wrap it twice toward the front of my finger and I'm going to grab it with both. This is the back of my hand forward. I'm gonna take the back one, move it forward but not over my finger, and then take the new back one, and then that's the one that goes over the finger just like so. There are slower tutorials available. There is a tutorial just for that alone. So let's begin. We're going to start off with doing a ring around the center, and how we do that is that this never counts as one in the rules of crochet. So we're gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then coming into the beginning one just like so, just pop it in there and then just grab through and through, and then basically you are just forming a center ring that you can pull open and see right down the middle. Now this is the center of this, and we're gonna just wrap it around, so we're just gonna hold it so it's all together, so when we go in the next layer you can bury it so you'll never see a loose end right at the beginning of your work. Using the same color I want to make the next round, and then we're going to change colors. So we're gonna just start off and we're going to chain 3. So we're just gonna immediately just go 1, 2 and 3, and then coming into the center of that ring, this is your straggler. Just lay it down on top of around the ring, and we want to double crochet around this 15 times. Okay, so double crochet is wrap and then going into the ring, pulling through, pull through 2 and 2, and you see I'm trapping the straggler as I go. So I tend never to count up to 15 when I'm doing it. I just put in a lot there and then I just go afterwards, and then I count the number of spokes when I'm going all the way around. You will notice that this is going to be a very tight circle in the beginning, and that's the way we want it, because usually in a circle there's only 12 stitches and not 15. Now remember in the rules of crochet that the chaining of 3 that we started off with counts as a crochet. So when we go to count all the way around, we're gonna make sure that we're counting a total of 16. So let's count all the way around so far. So this is the chaining that we started. So we just grab it by the spokes, as you can see by the posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and I still have 6 more to go to give me a total of 16 of these. So that was 11, and we have 12, 13, 14 and 15 and 16. Though I have counted that and it does seem like it's right, I would never take that for granted. I would actually just count again because it's important that you have them out. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 and 16, and then just join it to the top of the beginning chain 3 with the slip stitch like so. And now we want to fasten this off. So I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm going to cut that yarn like so, and I'm just gonna grab the yarn and pull it through that loop, and that kind of locks it into position. Now you'll notice that the straggler is still in the middle here, and basically because I have buried it I can safely cut it right down right to the start, and you'll never see that popping out. So what we're gonna do then is that I'm gonna take this straggler and I'm just going to weave it in and out of a few of the stitches just like this. And I'm doing it so that when I come around I'm going to just go over top of that, and that'll lock it into position just like so. So you'll notice that if it may be heavy, see that there's more stitches over here than there is here. Because you've gone around the ring, it will adjust on its own as you're working on this project. So let's begin the next row, or the next round. So let's begin our next round. I'm not going to start off with a slip knot like I normally would when I join. I'm just gonna just form a loop like so, and the reason for that is that I know that the way I'm doing it is not gonna ever fall out. So I'm just gonna stick my hook into any of the stitches. It doesn't matter where you started at this point, and you just want to pull through, and I'm going to let the straggler fall down in front like so, and I want to chain 3. So 1 2 and 3. To continue I want to double crochet into the same spot that I just did the join. So where I put it in, and I'm gonna double crochet one more time. So I want to take this straggler, just leave it around the top there, and then every time I'm just going into the stitch I'm gonna bury it further. So every one of these stitches all the way around are going to get 2 double crochets into there. Okay, so that had 2, and the next one is going to have 2, and you're gonna do that all the way around, and this is one of the rounds that make it look like it's all in balance. Once I go about 2 inches around, I just let the straggler just fall out, and then I could just safely cut it at that point because it'll never come out. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more double like this. There's 2 in the same one, and then I'm gonna let the straggler go out. So when I come back I'm gonna continue, and the whole idea is that I wanna make sure that there's enough stitches so I don't accidentally add on a stitch or subtract. So there should be a total of 16 of these crochets all the way around, so there should be 2 in each, giving you a total count of 16 or 32 stitches going all the way around. Okay, I've now gone all the way around, and again I do want to double check. I may be an expert in what I do, but I do double check, and I want to make sure that there are 16 stitches going all the way around, and there should be 2 in each, giving you a total count of 32. So I'm gonna go 1 2 3. See how I'm doing it? Grabbing them by the doubles. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 and 16. So now that I've verified it, I'm just going to join it with the top just like this with a slip stitch, and then I'm just going to cut this yarn. This yarn is finished, and I'm just going to pull it through like I did before and just weave it through a few of the top of the stitches. And now that I've already got past the pink round like so, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm just going to trim off the extra yarns that I had, and this was my fastening on yarn here, and I'm going to trim off my peony yarn here. And so again it looks nice and clean cut at this point, and I'm ready for the next round. Okay, let's begin round number 3 together, and round number 3 it's very simple. Again I'm not gonna start off with a slip knot. I'm just gonna start off with just a loop just like you see it. So I'm going again just gonna go into any one of the double crochets. It doesn't matter which one you go into, just go into any one, and we're going to join. So just pull it through. Just let the straggler fall in front so you can see that it's there, because you're gonna want to go over top of that, and I want you to chain 3. So 1 2 and 3, and coming back into where you've joined I want you to put 2 more double crochets this time. Last time it was just 1. So for this entire round it's just really simple to follow, and what I'm going to do then is at this point I'm just going to let this fall out of the way, and I'm gonna skip 1 stitch and go to the next for 3 double crochets into that one. Okay, so the repeat pattern on this entire project or this entire round is that you're gonna skip one and then 3 double crochets into the next one. And because you have an even number of 32 stitches, you will end up, so when you come back you will have one to skip when you come back. So please do that all the way around. So just 3 double crochets into each one, or each one skipping 1 stitch and then 3 double crochets into the next. So as I promised you when I came all the way back around, I will make sure that I have 1 stitch to skip over before I join it to the top of the chain now 3. So if you're not sure if you actually have it, you can just simply count all around. There should be 16 groups of these 3. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 and 16. So just don't be scared to count if you have to. Again, let's fasten that off and we're going to join another color. So it doesn't look like a gearbox like I shared to you, or a bursting flower. The next round is what changes the entire look of this particular granny. So because right now it's just starting off as a center round circle granny, but in actual fact it's the next one that starts to change the storyline. So let's do that and let's fasten off our ends and let's begin the next round. So let's begin our next round. The next round is what changes the game plan. So this time I am going to start off with a slip knot just to making sure that it's extra fastened on. And what I want to do is that I want to go in between a space. Okay, so you got your 3 groups. I want to go in between a space. So not an actual stitch, just going into the space, grabbing both yarns, pulling it through just like so, and letting the straggler now fall in the front. I'm going to just chain 1 and then single crochet back into the same space. It says to join with the single crochet. That's what I do. You may have a more different technique, but that's what I do. So we're going to start off now and we're going to chain 3. So 1 2 and 3, and coming into the side of the single crochet right down here we're going to put in 3 double crochets. This will cause these double crochets to lie down on their side. So 1 2 and 3. And here's the fun part. You're going to, it says to skip 3 double crochets, which is this whole group of 3. You're going to go right into the next gapping space and just do a single crochet. So let's begin again. So we're gonna chain 3, 1 2 and 3, and then coming into the side down here of the single crochet you're going to put in 3 double crochets. See that? Then once you get that done, you are just gonna go to the next gapping space, single crochet, and I'll show it one more time. So 1 2 and 3, going into the side of the single crochet for 3 double crochets. 1 2 and 3. Continue to do that all the way around. So remember how I said we've been counting 16? If you've done this right, there should be 16 of these going all the way around when you're done. So now coming all the way back around, and I'm just going to join down with the beginning single crochet that we started with, just like there. So now you can see you have a really cool effect. Off camera I did count. This almost looks like a sunflower. If you did this in a sunflower design, it'd kind of be really cool too. So let's just fasten this color off once again, and we're going to go with the white or the cream color next, whatever you want to call it. It's more cream than anything, I will say. So let's just fasten this off, just weave in a few in the ends. I can safely cut this one down here because I did it with the slip stitch or slip knot when I started, and I'm just weaving in my ends. And let's begin. And you can see now the gearbox is kind of look is starting to happen, but now it's gonna get even more fun in the next one. So let's start on with our next one here, and I am going to start it off with the slip knot to lock it in. And this time what we want to do, it says go into the chain 3 space. Well, the chain 3 spaces are these chain 3s that we started with, and they're on the one side of your particular kind of like a spoke or a gear, whatever you want to call it. So that's where it is. So we're just gonna go into the chain space here, and we're just going to join it on. And I just wrapped both around and pulled through. And it says join with the single crochet, so I'm going to chain 1 next and then single crochet back in. So then that gives it a complete single crochet look. So I'm gonna let the straggler fall out of the back, and what we want to do then is put in 3 double crochets right into the single crochet down here. So we're just gonna skip all of this work and just put in 3 double crochets there. So we're basically filling in the spaces of the points of what you just created. So you have 3, and then in this chain 3 space over here you're going to put in a single crochet. So it's kinda like we started there, so then we're just filling in the space. So let's go into the next one. Again, just down to the single crochet over here and fill it in with 3 double crochets. And you're going to do that all the way around, just a very simple round. So again, this is the chain 3 space, so just put in another single crochet and then fill it in down here with a single crochet with 3 double crochets. So continue to do that same pattern all the way around, and I'll see you back in just a moment. So I've come all the way back around, and you can see that it's still lying flat, so everything is staying in balance. And I actually would have thought, to my point of view, that this last round would have caused it to buckle in, and it doesn't. So you just said that single crochet right in the middle actually makes it spread out a little bit better, so therefore it still lays flat. So when we're going to finish this, we're just gonna join it to the single crochet that you started with, just like so. So let's begin. I'm going to pull up the variegated now. We're time for that, and then we just have one more row after that. So we're almost done this particular square for today. So let's begin. We're now going to start transforming the round into a square. I'm using variegated yarn. The actual colors in here were actually determined by the yarn itself. Daniel actually found this variegated and matched, and you will see that most of the colors match pretty closely, or if not, accent to it. So let's begin, and I'm going to start off with a slip knot just to begin. So let's do this, and I'm gonna take my time on this particular revolution because you want to get it right. So to begin, what we're going to do is look for a single crochet, and these are the ones right in here. You can choose any one, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna just stick our hook into one of them and just grabbing both strands, pulling around. Let's fasten on, and we are going to start off by making a corner first. So I'm gonna let the straggler fall down out of position so I can bury it underneath. So let's begin, and we're going to chain a 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if you look at the instructions, it says 3 trebles into the same stitch. So wrap and wrap, and going into the same stitch, keeping this straggler down on top so that you can continue to bury it. So wrap and wrap. So we want a total of 4 in here. So I said that there's 3. Remember that chaining of 4 that you started with counts as one of them. Once you have that done, you are just going to chain 1, and now we're going to continue with the other side of the corner. So this is one corner, or one part of the corner. Now we're gonna go to the other side. So wrap into the same stitch again, and you're putting in 4 trebles on this side. So you can see all the colors are starting to come together. Could have actually used a purple in here too. So the colors are pretty limitless really when you think about all the different beautiful colors of yarn. So once you have that done, you have an actual corner, and let's move on. So let's begin working down one side, and we'll do this nice and slow. So you have stitches here, you have single crochets, so you have double crochets and singles. We want to skip the first one here, and then the next 2 we want to put a double crochet into each. So 1 and 2. So, okay, so you did that, and then the next single crochet is also going to be a double this time around. Now the next group of 3 is going to be 1 half double into each. So we just pull through everything, so wrap. Okay, so wrapping, pulling through, pull through all 3. And we're gonna do that with a total of 3 times, which is the total of this same chaining, or sorry, same group of double crochets, if that makes it easier. We're then going to single crochet into the next single crochet. So we're now halfway through one of the sides. So we have to repeat what you've just done here, but go in the other go in the reverse. So this is a single crochet. So then this is the next group of 3. We just did half double crochet here. So guess what those are? That's right, they're half double crochets each. Okay, so there's 1 into each. And remember the next one, here's a single crochet, will be a double crochet this time. And then the next 2 will be, that's right, it's a double crochet into the next 2. So just like we skipped over the very first one over here, we skipped over this one right, do you see it there? We're going to skip over the next one and then begin the corner. So we're gonna do a treble right into this next single crochet. And how many are we doing? You got it, that's right, there's 4 in there. So that first one that we started off with, we always have to start off somewhere, so that you're starting off with a chain. This time you're ready just to go, so you're just gonna put in your 4 trebles and then chain 1, that's right, and then 4 trebles back into the same single crochet. Okay, so I want to just pull things apart, making sure that I'm not losing count. You don't ever want to really lose count on this one. So let's begin. We're going to go down another side. So let's see if you remember what to do. We're gonna skip the first one and we're going to double crochet into the next one and the next one. And I'm saying it like that instead of saying just double crochet into the next 3, because I want you to identify that you've just skipped over one of the groups of 3 and the next double crochet is in the single crochet. So then here's your next group of 3. Those are half double crochets. So there's gonna be 3 of those. The whole thing of crochet and about speed is about being able to identify what you're looking at. Here's a single crochet, this is the middle, so this is gonna be a single crochet, and now we're gonna get bigger as we go back down the other side, because you've already got, this is the halfway part. So the next 3 are going to be halves, half double crochet. Okay, and now you're on the single crochet. This is gonna be a double, and this next 2 are gonna be a double each, and guess what, you're ready for a corner. So wrap and wrap, skipping the next one, go right to the single crochet, and you're putting in 4 trebles in there. See that? And then chain 1 and then just coming back in. So continue to do the same steps all the way around in order to form this, and you can see it's immediately going from a circle right to a square. I'm coming up all the way back around and I'm still following the same pattern. So that means that I'm gonna have one skipped one left, and then I'm just going to join it to the top of the chain 4 that we started with. So we just have one more revolution to do around this entire square, and this is the easiest one probably of them all. You just gotta follow what's already there, and it just is a lot of fun. So this is a really great tutorial to work with that actually kind of learn a few new techniques with it, especially with that. I've never done anything like this hole in the center or anything like that, so that's been kind of fun even for me. So let's begin, and I'm going to start off in the next revolution, and I'm going to do brown this time because there was a bit of brown in the variegated. So here we go. Here is the final revolution, and all we're just going to do, I'm going to start off with a slip knot just to join, and I'm just going to come in right into a corner. Okay, so it can be any corner, doesn't matter. Just go in, grab both strands, pull it through like this. So it says to join it with a single crochet, so let's do a chain 1 first and then single crochet back into this particular section to our 3 more times. So 1, 2 and 3. So there'll be a total of 3 single crochets in there, so that joining area that I just started with doesn't actually officially count as one. So each one of these that we're going all the way around, we wanna make sure that each of the crochets gets something. So you just gotta watch this very beginning one here, is that the stitch is actually right here, but if you may not be watching that, you might accidentally bury that one. So you just gotta be careful that you get to every one of the stitches. If you're going to skip it, make sure that you skip it on every single one of the squares that you make, but just be conscientious of that because you might not be paying attention. So we're just gonna single crochet into each one of the stitches going all the way around, except for the corners. How many are we gonna do? That's right, we're gonna do 3 single crochets. So you can see that the pattern is actually really quite easy to follow. I found the whole pattern was actually easy to follow. I learned some new ideas throughout this idea. If you're doing this, even if you just get a work in progress square 1, square done, we'd love to see your creativity on Facebook. And of course if you get the entire Afghan done, we'd love to see that, and you never know, we may just feature it in a newsletter as well. That's on thecrochetcrowd.com. So just making sure I'm getting into each one of the stitches going all the way around. I'm just gonna take you to the first corner, and then we'll just finalize and then sign off for today. So we're gonna go right into the corner for 3 single crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and again we want to make sure we get this beginning one. Okay, so if we jump here, we're actually on here, so we gotta make sure we get in there. and single crochet. So please do that all the way around. When we come back, we're gonna finish off, and then you can get started on making the rest of this Afghan on your own. Once you're done this, come all the way back around and just join it with the single crochet, just the first one that you started with, and just fasten off. And I'm just gonna cover with you really quickly on how to sew these squares together, and then there is a beautiful outside border that I think you can follow the instructions along really carefully. It's actually just really simple. It's just the interior here that you may need some extra help with. So the whole key of putting these together on how they look is actually within how you sew these together, and I'll show you that in just a moment. When you go to sew these together, you want to put the right sides together. So this is the right side, this is the right side, it's the front side. You can see that there's a definite difference. This is the right side, this is the wrong side. See the difference? Okay, this is more defined right in the middle. So you want to put the right sides together so that they're kind of sandwiched together, so they're kind of folded up like a book. And then essentially what you want to do is that when you go to sew these, you only want to use a back loop only. So every stitch is made up of loops, so you only want to use the back loop only. And this here, this line, do you see these lines? These are the front loops that are not caught because you've only attached it by the back loop only. And it makes it a lot nicer finish. It lets your Afghan sit down a lot more better. I'm just seeing if I can pull it around the back side. The back side, it'll look completely flat, and that's because you grabbed it by the back side loop only. So this is called like an invisible seam as well, and basically you use the same color. So in my case I use brown, so I will use brown doing the back loops only. And so essentially you just have to match these up. So you have 3 single crochets here. You're going to want to match this single crochet to the opposite one over there. So using the back loops on this side, back loops on the next, and bring them together and just kind of whip stitch them together. You move down, grab the next stitch here, and then the next stitch on the other side, and vice versa. And that would be how you would do a blue Lagoon throw. And this is really quite fun and simple. Colleen took about a week to do this, and she works, and this was amazing. We really loved her creativity. You know, I don't use variegated yarn that often, but I have to say when I saw this I flipped out, because I discount variegated yarn so easily, but it actually gives it a really kind of a unique look to it as well. Till next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. We'll see you.